Today, we're talking about part two of step two of how to get you out of your job. If you're tired of the same and ready to make a change, go ahead and click subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so that you can get the information you need. Now, if you haven't watched the other videos, go back and watch those first. That all builds on each other as we're going through. You can't jump through the parts to just find out the good stuff. It's all good stuff. It all builds on each other. So you really got to go through this in order to really understand it and have a good plan. If you just cut through and jump to different parts of this, you're only hurting yourself. You're only going to hurt yourself on your plan and getting out of your job. So this step two is about budgets and diets. That's kind of the title of it. If you haven't downloaded the manual, go to the website, follow the link in the description, and you can get a copy of the manual that we're walking through here to help you get out of your job. So when it comes to budgets and diets, budgets are really similar to diets in the sense that we don't really like it. Neither one are fun, but they're both really necessary for maintaining good health, whether it be for our physical health or our financial health. So when it comes to diets, we can jump in to a diet, be all excited about it, and do it once and cut 3 pounds and feel really good about it. But then we fall off the next week and all the weight comes back and probably a little bit more. And the same kind of thing can happen when it comes to a budget. So we can jump in and do it once and feel really good, save some money, but then we fall back into our old habits. And that's where we need to start to frame this in a little better of a system that's actually going to work for us and help us maintain the results that we're really after.
So quick story, guys. I went to the doctor a while back to do a regular routine checkup, and I asked him his opinion about this current diet that was going on. It was, you could say it was a fad, but it seemed like it had promise to it. And halfway through me explaining the diet, he started shaking his head and he says, "Joe, if you want to lose weight, your calories in have to be lower than your calories out." And I was like, wow, that makes it pretty much simple. And it was kind of one of those things where you take a step back and you look at it like that's what it all boils down to. That's literally what it all boils down to. So every diet that's ever been conceived or ever will be conceived follows that same logic that a second grader could understand. And this applies to finances too. If you want to grow your bank account, your in must be higher than your out. You have to make more than what you spend. If you want your bank account to grow over time, you need to make a lifestyle change and not just go on a financial diet for a short amount of time.
Yeah. So the way that we start to break this down to make it work for us is kind of using the diet analogy. We're cutting out the fat. And when it comes to our expenses, there's different categories. Like some of our expenses are necessary. They're really part of living with. We need to have some of it. So how do we actually approach this to make it work in a way that is going to help us achieve our goals? So these three main categories that we're breaking it down for, we're going to go into more detail in just a minute, but just to give you an overview of it. First one is our needs. That's food, water, shelter. That's kind of like basic human survival needs. We need to have those covered. The next category is our wants. And so that's anything that, that's still really part of who I am, that helps me enjoy my life. And it still brings in value to just our everyday interactions. And then number 3 is the stupid stuff. This is stuff that just doesn't bring any value to what we're doing. So let's go a little bit deeper into the needs, wants, and stupid stuff. So let's go over stupid stuff first. So when it comes to stupid stuff, this is a lot of things that we can just probably eliminate altogether. Maybe it's just things that we signed up for a subscription for and we never even used it. Maybe we have an old gym membership and we went like 3 times to the gym after we bought it, but we're still paying for it 8 months later. Get rid of it. If you're not going to use it, just be honest with yourself and get rid of it. Maybe it's an old magazine that you have that you've just been paying for and you don't even read it anymore or don't even care about it. It's not something bringing you, 1, value, and 2, you're spending money on it. It's taken away from you reaching your goals. Let's get rid of that. then what about other areas? What about cable? Can you reduce your cable package? Can you just get rid of cable altogether and be a cable cutter? Cancel these things that are not bringing value to your life. Look at everything that you have. And then also, it's not just recurring expenses as well. It's all these impulse buys. What are you doing when you go to a store? How are your interactions? What's your default behavior when you see something that looks really cool? Is it to buy it? Well, can you actually go into that store and not buy anything? Can you go in and look around and walk out because you just didn't see anything that would actually bring value to your life without buying it? Like, what is it that you are doing? Why are you buying these things that are not helping you reach your goals in your life? So ask yourself these questions. Is this thing helping me get out of my job, or is it making me stay in my job? It's one question.
Oh, sorry, Reese. Go ahead.
Second question. What could I do with this money if I stopped spending it on stupid stuff? So as you're looking at this stupid stuff category, ask yourself those questions.
Next, we got wants here, and this is where we kind of pick and choose. And this is where what we call a freedom plan and a budget go into two different directions. Because if you're on a budget, you're cutting out all your wants, 100%. Like, you're just doing needs, and that's it. This is where a freedom plan is kind of looking at, well, does this bring me joy? And we're talking about, if you're looking at wants, we're talking about concert tickets, dining out, aftermarket parts for your truck, getting your nails done. These are not things that are essential to living. And they're not necessarily quote unquote stupid stuff either. It's all kind of in the eye of the beholder. And if you cut out everything here, then you are on a budget and you are going to do it for maybe a week, 2 weeks, and then you're going to fall back into it because everybody feels like if they're starving themselves financially, they're gonna go back and they're gonna just go on a spending spree, and then they're gonna be worse off, just like basically like a diet. So you don't want to cut everything out of the wants category. You definitely want to pick and choose. And this is where it gets a little bit tougher. Stupid stuff is easy. It's just like cut it. It's just get rid of it. And wants and needs, you have to get a little bit more creative. So do I really want this? And you got to kind of ask yourself, does this bring me value? Am I staying motivated to get out of my job if I keep this in place? And my coach told me a couple of weeks ago, he said, the closer that reward is to the goal, the mini goal that you're trying to get to, the more likely that you're going to hit that goal. So if getting out of your job is a long way off, or it seems like it's a long way off, then you need to have some mini goals along the way. And if you get a ton of value out of, say, concert tickets, then set aside a little bit of money every single month for concert tickets. But filter your choices through a new line of thinking like this. Do I need to have the best seats, or do I just need to have good seats? Do you need to go every single month or a couple times a year? Are there bands that you really, really like you have to see? And are there bands that you want to see? And then there are bands that you might want to see. Like it would be nice to see. So think more along the lines of basic model once over getting luxury model once. Think of it like, can I have this can I get this experience at a reduced price? Am I going to enjoy this with maybe middle of the road seats? Do I need to get all these aftermarket parts for my truck all at once, or can I get them, a little bit at a time? And me personally, I don't play video games very much, but playing video games is a want in my life. So what I do is I have a system, and I have what's called a $25 and under list. So when a new game comes out, it's like $60, right? And I look at it, I'll look at the reviews, I'll watch some online play of it, and I'm just like, okay, this looks like a fun game that I'd like to buy. Well, when it's new, it's $60. Okay. Well, what happens to every single game after time. Like it goes down. It goes down, down, down until it shows up on Amazon, eBay, all those different sites. And then now it's $25. So I've paid for less than half for the same exact video game that someone that got it 4 or 5 months ago got it. And I'm having just as much fun. And all it is that I'm 4 months behind everybody else. Now, that is where I am still getting my want, but I'm getting it at a reduced price, and I'm still happy with it. Every once in a great while, there might be a video game that I want to get out brand new, but it's a rarity. And ask yourself some of these questions. I know I don't need this thing to live, but is it going to keep me motivated to keep going? Is this thing going to keep my bank account from going up this month? Use these items as carrots and sticks. If I stay under my budget this month by $200 and I get to spend $50 on whatever I want. But if I don't hit my budget, then I can only buy 2 things at the dollar store off the dollar menu when I go eating out. So use carrots and sticks here and make sure that you are thinking outside the box. Use the carrots to make sure that you are pushing yourself forward to hit that goal that you're trying to hit, whatever your goal is that month, and also use a stick, whatever is going to motivate you more. Me personally, sticks motivate me more than carrots. So I make sure that I hit my monthly target. And if I don't, then I'm going to have to go X amount of months without enjoying that want.
So the next one is needs. And this is where you think like, okay, food, water, shelter, I got to have those. So I'm just going to spend money on it and not think about it. But I think that is robbing ourselves of a little bit of creativity and thus robbing ourselves of being able to achieve our goals faster. So yeah, we need food, water, shelter. You're absolutely right. But let's think about ways that we can have that and still reach our goals faster. So maybe thinking about some of these is a little difficult. So let's think of something like a car. A car is on the verge of necessity in most situations. So first off, ask yourself, do you even really need a car? And depending on how dire your situation is, you can probably say like, okay, I can do without a car for a while. And that'll get rid of a big expense altogether for you. Insurance, gas, maintenance, all the other stuff, all the other kind of expenses that go into having a car. But okay, you're at the point where you're not in that dire of a situation. You still need a car. You still got to get to wherever it is that you're going. Do I have to have a nice brand new car with those payments? Or can I just sell my new car and buy a used car with cash? That would get rid of the payments altogether. You could probably reduce your insurance if you'd like, and you still are getting from A to B with a nice, reliable car. Okay, yeah, it's got some miles. Yeah, it's probably not all nice and new and has the new car smell anymore. But are you really wanting to have that new car smell over quitting your job, achieving your goals? So that's the first one. It's maybe a little easier to digest than this next one. What about a mortgage? Oh, but man, I have to have a mortgage. I have to have a house. Okay, you need a shelter. You don't need a house. So let's think about this. What else can we do? We're giving you an example right here. Sell your house and buy a duplex. You can rent out the other side of the duplex. Duplex is probably going to cost just as much as your house. Maybe it costs a little more. And that person that's renting out the other side of the duplex is going to pay for your mortgage. That rent is going to be higher than your mortgage as long as you do it right. And it'll be like living in your house for free. So you could probably even make a little money on this. You can do it with a triplex or a fourplex as well. And you still have the same type of financing, same type of loan. There's ways to think outside of the box. That's where your need is. Food, water, shelter. It wasn't food, water, house. Okay, now let's go on to food. Do you need name brand foods to live off of? No, absolutely not. It's okay to not really have all the mid-shelf items. Look down to the bottom shelf when you're in the grocery store and see what's down there. Get the store value stuff, and that will save you just a ton of money. But really, when you're going through these needs, you can see a lot of this coming in advance. Start planning it out. So, for example, if you have a computer, computers are becoming pretty necessary in this day and age. So, if you have a dated computer and it's like, man, something's going to happen to it soon, start thinking like, okay, I can start socking away some money, but there's a sale coming up. So, if I just plan out a little bit of money every month in my budget until that sale gets here, such as Black Friday or back to college, then I'll have the money by then and I will be able to get a nice discount on a nice new computer, and I won't be running out in an emergency and buying in the high price season. So you can save yourself a ton of money by planning it out and taking advantage of sales.
Takeaways. All right, guys. I'm glad that Reese brought up the grocery store stuff there, because nothing is off the table here, not even the bread. And I remember that I live in Ohio, and I was thinking back of a time to where it was a storm that was coming. It was supposed to be a big storm that was coming. And of course, everybody in Ohio, every time we have a big storm, everybody runs the grocery store and buys the grocery store out. And I was there picking up a few items myself. I looked down the bread aisle, and all the bread is wiped out except for the Pepperidge Farm. And I walked down, and the Pepperidge Farm is literally the most expensive bread in that aisle. So everybody had to have their bread, but not the most expensive bread. So it was like a panic, but it wasn't really like, we're only half crazy here. So I thought that was funny, because it's all emotion. And just kind of start thinking to yourself, does the store brand do the trick? Am I going to be happy with the store brand? Is anybody going to judge me if I have the store brand bread in my house, if they come over and start rooting through my fridge? And think outside the box. This is where creativity is key. And I like to look at it is, when it comes to a want, is this want going to bring me joy? Is this need going to bring me joy? Is it going to, if I say yes to this need or this want, that means I'm saying no to something else. And that generally means I'm saying no to getting out of my job a little bit earlier. Now, neither one of us are telling you to starve yourself, physically or, financially when it comes to the wants. But start thinking outside the box. How can I reduce or eliminate this expense? You want to cut out the fat, but not the muscle. If it does not hold true value, then just eliminate it. And if it holds value in your life, then keep it. Just know that the leaner you are in your expenses, the easier it is going to be to quit your job. Now, there are financial gurus out there and philosophies that are the rusty bike and ramen noodles lifestyle. And hey, if that works for them, then more power to them. I don't like ramen noodles, but that's not going to work for everybody. And I have to drive a car to work and to get around. Now, the larger your bank account is and the lower your expenses are, then the more options you will have ahead when quitting your job. You may not realize it, but you might be cutting months or even years off of your exit on your job.
All right, guys. So that's all for part 2 of step 2 on how to quit your job. Now, if you haven't already, go back and watch the other videos, and be sure to click like and subscribe. Let us know in the comments what questions you have and how we can help you. If you have any questions on particular expenses, hey, I've got this expense that I should probably cut out, but how can I actually gut it out? What other ideas, what things have you guys seen people try? Let us know in the comments.